Birmingham GTRCs here, guys, bringing you the second part to my build process for my Absima AB3.4, and just completed first page. First impressions: shock towers got to be the weakest, softest shock towers I've ever come across. So I'm guessing these should bend at a 45-degree angle and not break. That's what I'm kind of expecting. They should bend all over the place and not break, which might be good for bashing, which is what I want it for. So for anyone that's doing what I'm doing, want a cheap buggy to bash and not really mind if stuff breaks, easy to replace, this is it. Diffs all done up, you know, already. I changed out the plastic spur to the metal spur. And when you're screwing these screws in, guys, as you can see in there, they're not tapped or anything, so you do literally have to tap these screws and get them in. With like same with all the holes in the shock towers. So when if I move this little buckle up, I'll have to tap that in again. But obviously when you tighten them up as well, guys, when you get to as tight as you can get, they just will keep turning. So you kind of just have to go by feel that and look to see how tight you get them, and then stop, because if you keep going, you'll just keep turning until these things fall out. So yeah, they're not the best shock towers, but they'll do the job for now. But if you're going to keep taking these things in and out, they're not going to last, and you will be upgrading to aluminium. I did have a look at fitting these aluminium shocks, but they're too thin. The gap between here and here, I would have to put washers and all kinds to get them to fit, and I just couldn't bother with doing a bodge job. I thought I'd get it together with the original first and see how it goes, guys. So that's the shock towers right there, and now I'm gonna put together the steering mechanism. Okay, so first problem I've come up against is with the first problem I came up with is the steering links. Yeah, they're bushed. It's not a problem, but I prefer bearings. I don't have anything bearings that size. I did get the steering links, so that's not a problem, but I did get the one that comes with the pack. It's labeled, and that's what most people was getting, and they weren't getting the servo arm. So what they did was they've added the servo horn in there and another link, so you actually end up with two. As you can see, the one they've added, there was no part number or anything on there, but I mean, obviously it speaks for itself what it is. So they've obviously added that in. The problem I have is with this item here, and that's the part number for it. So that comes in the packet on its own with that part number. And if we go to the book and we look here in the book, you can see where it shows you the number for that part number is 190, which is 190, and then over here it shows the two screws 190. Those screws don't exist in any packets, or they don't come in the packet. So that must be a error there with the numbers. Maybe these screws are here, so I'm going to leave the steering linkage to last and see what screws we're left with. But I think that's a typo error with the numbers for the screws. They've given the screws and that part number the same number, which obviously the screws don't come in the packet. So either the screws are missing in the packet, or it's a typo error with the number for the screws. So I'm not sure what screws go in there. They are mushroom head style screws. Obviously you can see they look a bit small, but yeah, guys, that's the first issue I've come across. Not a major issue, but I'll leave that to last. They could have, I would have preferred if these links came in separate bags, not all together, because two of them have a little F on them, which I'm assuming is for front. If I can find which ones they are. Like that one, if you can see on there, it's got a little F. Two of them links have that little F on it, and then the other four are numbered, like 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, sorry, focus. So like they have numbers on. So that's 1, 2. Then you'll have like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So I'm assuming they're the arms for the cameras and stuff like that. And then these, I'm assuming with the front Fs are the ones that are for the steering links, I'm assuming. But I would prefer if they was in separate packets, you know, and it would be more clearer what's for what and what's for what. But yeah, that's the only problem so far I've come up with, guys, is either screws are missing or it's a typo error in what number screws I have to use. So yeah, I'm just going to get on with it. I'm in the process now of putting all my steering together and suspension arms, lower suspension arms together. So I'm doing that right now, guys, and I'll let you know how I get on. So far, so good. Also, I think I'll just mention while I'm here is the reason why we're not getting as much steering is I'm not sure if this is exactly the same as the 2.4, but these arms and links, they're quite short. If these were slightly longer, you would get more steering out of it. So that's the reason we don't get much steering, because this is a little short where it actually all attaches to. So that's why we're not getting much steering. Where that little bolt is there in the middle, that really could do with being further out here, and this just being a bit longer in total, really. But we'll see how we get on, guys. I did have a look at trying to fit the steering links from my HSP, and unfortunately it's slightly different design. So once I've got it all fitted together, I'll compare it and let you guys see exactly what I'm talking about. So here we have it, guys. I've got my diffs, shock mounts, spoiler mounts. I've got all that mounted in. I haven't screwed down my engine mount yet because I want to adjust everything just to make sure nothing's too tight with that there. And I haven't put my drive shaft in yet. I'm just checking everything screws down all right. I'm actually going to fit the drive shaft in now. That's my next step. I'm just checking everything goes together well here. Everything goes in well. What I did notice was with the servo, which I wanted to mention, you can see there's 2 holes here, 2 holes there. And I think what this allows is these mounts to be fitted either way around, facing that way or that way, you know, to mount the servo whichever way around it works best for your car and mounting it. So that's a good option, you know, just to have the option of fitting that at the front of your servo or at the rear of your servo. But the problem you will have is I haven't tightened these down, because as I tightened the first one down, I realized when you come to mount your servo, you're not going to be able to get to that screw as such because it's so low down in the edge of this. So you will have to mount your servo to this first before you actually screw it to the chassis. That's just something I'm sure all you have come across and realize and stuff, but I thought I'd just mention that. But yeah, apart from that, guys, so far the build's coming on nice. And instructions, I've been using a lot of the instructions. I've been going off the online instructions they sent me. So this is where I'm at the moment. I'm on this page here, so we're almost there, guys. We're almost there. If I just get that back up there. So this is where I'm at now. As you can see, mounting my differentials and stuff like that, you know. Yeah, we're almost there, guys. We're nearly finished. Still got a few screws to go. Apart from steering links, I haven't had any other issues. I haven't had any other problems. It's been a straightforward build. Everything's straightforward building from here. The only difficult part I've come across is the diagrams showing you how to put the servo savers together, and the links, you know, the diagrams are really poor, but I'll figure it all out and I'll let you know. So if you stay tuned, guys, and you catch me on the next part 3, should be me finishing up, guys. So yeah, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe, and stay tuned for my Absima AB3.4 kit build. Cheers, guys. Thanks for watching. Okay, guys, so we're back, part 3 of my Absima AB3.4 build, and I'm putting these links together, see what screws we've got left. There's quite a few screws left, and basically I'm looking for 3, 6, 7, And guys, there's no 367 screws. I've looked everywhere in the box. There is no 367, guys. I am so upset. Like, they actually missed out a whole pack of screws. So let me just double. Oh, my bad, guys. My bad. I was kicking off there, guys. Look at that. For whatever reasons, I had them dead, got dragged underneath this stuff that was not right. 367. Take it all back, guys. Take it all back. I actually just went into my spare set because I ordered the full set of screws. I was like, right, I got the full set. But yeah, the 2 screws I'm looking for are there, guys. So yeah, no worries. Panic over. And well, yeah, panic's over right there on camera as I decided to record that the screws were missing. I found them. I would have corrected myself at the end if I would have found them, but yeah, I found them, guys. So panic's over. So far so good. The only problem, as I said before, was they've either numbered these screws 190 wrong, or they've ordered that part number wrong. But as you can see, the part number has the same number as the screws, and there was no screws in the bag with that part, and there is no other bag with that same number on. So something's wrong there, but I'll get around it. I'll get around it, guys. I'm getting there slowly but surely, so I'm sure I'll find which screws are for which. So yeah, I've got everything else together. Everything's gone together really lovely. Everything's screwing in really lovely. I think really I should have opened these diffs up. They came sealed. Can you hear that? And then it goes smooth. Yeah, I'm not really too fussed. I'll let it do its thing, you know. It's not too bad. I don't know. Could do with a bit more grease in there, but for a first run and stuff like that, I'll just run it, and then probably I'll open them up again and put some grease in there and stuff. But so far, guys, everything's been going great. This build has been going great. You can see how much played in there. Let's have a look how close that's getting to the edge. It's getting pretty close to the edge, guys. As you can see, that under a good flex will probably pop out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to adjust. That's not too bad, that end. But I think I might adjust. But then at the same time, I might not, because when this thing's bouncing around and you're slamming it and you're flexing, basically that's going to stop you bending your drive shaft, because the chassis twist, it's got a lot of room to move before it actually bends the drive shaft. I don't know. Maybe that'll pop out, you know. So we'll see. We'll find out. I might just leave it and see what happens and see if it pops out, and then I'll adjust that to sit a bit further in. But so far, everything looks good. Everything fits nice, guys. I haven't really had any issues. The most difficult part of this build, I'd say, is this servo saver. And yeah, I mean, these links, I think, go in the middle like that. There's quite a lot of gap. I'm not sure if there's going to be a lot of play in it, how it's really going to work. I think there's some ball joints which are meant to go in there. Let's have a look. This is the only thing. I think there's some ball joints that go in it. And on these diagrams, I don't see anywhere where they tell you to actually fit these ball joints. If I'm right, I have these 2 extra ball joints. I'm assuming they go in here. But if we're looking at the instructions, you can't see these links with the ball joints in. But that does look like there's a ball joint in there. But as you can see, there is no numbers anywhere pointing to these ball joints. And 285, can anyone see 285? Drop a comment if I've missed it, but I just cannot see. Ah, here we go, here we go. So here, 285, suspension arms, FR top, but then the bottom one says suspension arms, FR top. So exactly, that says ×2 and that says ×4. So the ×2 goes with these little links. So we've got 4 links here. So there's my ×4. And here are my ×2, guys. So that kind of makes sense. That makes sense that they go with that. But still, in this book, I don't see any, what's the number? 285. I don't see a 285 description anywhere telling me I need to put those ball joints into there. So yeah, that's another error. So it just seems this whole steering mechanism, the whole design isn't too good because you don't get much steering on it. And the way they've drawn the pictures out, I mean, that you just barely know which way around you're actually looking at this thing, you know. I've figured it out which way it's got to go, but it's for a novice, he'd be lost. A novice would have this part left over and not know where it goes. He would see on the book there, but probably wouldn't know. If it's not your, you know, if it's your first time building a car, you know, you're not really going to know where these go and what they're for. You just see it in a diagram, but not really know. Bit of common sense might tell you, yeah, it's got to go in that there to fill the gap and give that a little pivoting point. But some people will probably just stick the bolt through there, the little screw through there, and leave it at that and get really stiff steering. So yeah, I mean, past experience, building cars, stripping, upgrading, I know where they need to go. So yeah, they just need to redo this whole steering mechanism and redo out of all the diagrams. This whole steering mechanism diagrams is very poor, and this is the worst part as well because you can't see anything in these pictures. They're too dark. You barely can see what's what. You only see the numbers you need, but you gotta use a lot of common sense on how it goes together. I only know how a lot of this goes together because of my HSP X STR. It's basically, these are exactly the same, identical. The arms are identical, the diff casings identical, you know. So yeah, more or less from messing around with it before, I knew how I needed to put it all together. So yeah, we're there though. We're getting there, guys. Stay tuned. And I'm going to get this steering fitted in now. We'll see if we can find these 2 screws that are either the screws numbers are incorrect, 190, or they have labeled 190 part number wrong. But something's wrong, guys. The part number and the screws have got the same number. So let me figure that out and let you guys see the end product. All right, so I fitted in the links. That is very, very smooth. No resistance, no friction in there. So that seems to be right, fitted right. And same again, literally no resistance in there. Hopefully when I screw the tops down, that should still be the same. The bolts have gone in fine. I haven't put that bit in yet, but that will just kind of slip underneath there. It does show in the book for you to kind of fit that up first. And then, but because there's these little holes underneath, which is that hole and that hole, I can actually screw them in afterwards. So that's come off. It's got to go that way. And you can see that where that goes in, this little part's going to screw into that, and that lines up with those holes underneath, as you can see. So that would be straightforward to fit this in last, if you know what I mean, when I find what screws are missing and so forth. So yeah, guys, yeah, okay, yeah, I had, well, missing screws or labeled wrong, but we'll get around it, guys. You know, it's gonna be an easy fix, really. It's not going to be difficult to find what screws go in it. The screws that looks like in the diagram looks like these type of screws, little mushroom head screws. I've got a few packets of these mushroom head screws here still, so I'm sure one of them is going to be for this. I mean, even though I need 2, I'll figure it out, guys. We're getting there. So we're just going to fit the top brace up now, get all that fitted up, get the top brace fitted up, as you can see from the instructions, get the back bumper fitted up, get all the links on, Where's my links? Here's my links. I should get on my links on, get them all adjusted to the right length. I'll use my little holder here just to use and get the links the right lengths. And we should have this looking ready to run. And as you can see, a few last steps, dog bones and wheels on. Almost there, guys, almost there. Okay, so the first real custom thing I've done to this, because of past experience and watching other videos online with this servo saver on my HSP XSTR, I had the same issue where the servo saver, when you're steering, just seems to keep coming loose. So basically what I've done is, you can see I just put a bolt in there. This bolt is literally, there you go, it's tightening down. Oh no, it's not, it's actually spinning. Or is it tightening out? It's just a bit bigger than the threads. On my HSP, that actually tightened down onto there, but there's no slack in there going up or down. So when that servo saver starts to loosen off, as you can see, if I squeeze it, there is literally, its servo saver is barely doing anything. And if you tighten this bolt up too tight, it's really stiff. So you're just slacking it off until you've got lovely movement. Because it's got the it's a locking nut. Hopefully that shouldn't unwind itself. With it being a locking nut, you can tighten up the bottom ones underneath really tight, and that one really tight. You can tighten this one up really tight, and it all still flows smoothly. If you tighten this one up tight on the steering, that side will be, this side will get tight if you tighten this bolt up too tight. So basically that's just, you know, tighten it all the way up as tight, and then just keep slacking it up until you get nice free movement. And hopefully you should have nice free steering. The only issue I have is when I come to screw this on, it's kind of going to be plastic to plastic. I'm not sure how it's going to tighten up without it being too stiff and it's just rubbing against each other. I just haven't seen anything that comes in the packaging that's actually going to allow it to spin freely against each other. We'll see how it goes, but yeah, we'll cross that hurdle when we get there, guys. Okay, here we go. Come downstairs so I can watch a bit of YouTube and do my car. It's probably about, well, I'm not sure what time now, something to 12 I think. I did start this around 6:30. I worked on it for about an hour and a half, and then I stopped for a couple of hours, chilled, came back to it again. I've been on it for about another hour and a half, so I've been at this now about 3 hours, and this is where I've got, guys. As you can see, everything's moving nice. I haven't put that other link in yet, but yeah, it's looking good. Everything's moving good. As you see, I've got to put the suspension on. That's not a problem. That's all set up and ready to go. That's what I'm going to do next. But I wanted to make sure everything was moving well. Everything's moving smooth. Everything's, you know, as I go along, I'm making sure everything's running smooth. So far, so good. Everything's running good. So yeah, it's getting there, guys, slowly but surely. We're getting there. So we're gonna crack on and we're gonna get the suspension on. And once we've got the suspension on, I'm going to then look at how we're going to get this to fit up correctly. I might have to end up taking all this off and taking all this off to get this all running smooth, but we'll see what happens. I'm going to go with the way the instructions say, and if I'm not happy, I may have to do a little custom job on that. But at the moment, this is where we're at, guys. This is where we're at. I'm not happy yet with that steering. That's as far as it goes. I'd like it if, oops, sorry about that. I would like it if that would touch the actual insides there, right in. But as you can see, it doesn't go right in. There's a gap there, it's not touching, so I'm losing a bit of steering there. And the reason is, as I stated before, it's the length of these here and the way this is all put together, so not as much steering. I mean, that's not a lot of turn, but we'll see how it goes. Almost there, guys, almost there. I'm going to be at this until it's done. I'm a late night owl myself, so yeah. See, I got my coffee, a little chocolate bar. But yeah, we're gonna get there, guys. I'm enjoying the build so far. I've not come across anything that's been real difficult, apart from the steering is the most difficult bit. Everything else has gone together nicely. The instructions are not the best, but to be honest with you guys, it's not, diabolical. It's not, crap. The instructions are simple, really. If you've got a basic idea of what you're doing, following the instructions should be easy. It's a pretty simple buggy to put together, pretty simple build, and I'm happy with the process so far. And when this is done, then we can rag the life out of it and bash it, jump it, flip it, roll it, do whatever, and just have fun with this buggy, because I'm not going to do it with my HSP. So yeah, we're almost there. Put my hexes on, put some wheels on, and yeah, get the electrics all wired in. Okay, so I've fitted up my shocks. Feeling really good. Usual play from these hubs. They're not CVDs or universals, they're just a standard. As you can see, it's the usual little bit of play. It's that little bit of usual play you get. So I know when I did fit the universal dog bones, that took away a lot of that play. So I might fit them in, but at the moment I'm kind of trying to go with as much as the stock car as possible and just see how it drives and how it runs. But I mean, yeah, there's no rubbing like I had with my HSP before when I used to tighten the wheel nuts up. The actual hexes I used were 5mm hexes, which are quite thin. I think these are 6mm or maybe even 7mm. Probably about 6mm, whereas the ones I put on were 5mm, so they're a little bit thinner. So it just gives me, get a bit of focus, that little bit more of the nut sticking out. So the lock tight on the actual nut will definitely grip on more, because the wheel nut can go on a little tighter. But these are definitely got foam in them, 100% definitely got foam in. These are definitely not just the tires, these have got foam inside, guys, so that's definitely a good plus. They're still quite soft and that, and these front wheels are quite narrow compared to the back wheels. But we'll see how it goes. We'll see how this thing dries once I've got it all up and running. As you can see, I haven't got the steering in yet, but yeah, it's probably going to be one of the last things I do at the moment before I wire up all the wiring. I'm just going to get everything else put on the car and see how it goes, guys. But we're getting there. We're getting there. So far, so good. No problems fitting up the suspension. They fitted on lovely. I've got softer shock oils in the rear. I've got firmer shock oils in the front. I'll give you guys a look at what shock oils I use, what weights and stuff. I'll get the bottles out and let you have a look at that as well when I'm done. But yeah, we're almost there, guys, almost there. Okay, guys, I'm just fitting in the electrics. As you can see, servos in, receivers in. I haven't connected the steering yet, as you can see. I'm leaving that one till last, putting the motor in, and yeah, it's a little awkward, guys, if I get a bit of extra light in there. This little screw and trying to get in that little gap and turn it, it is like you've got like a quarter turn every time, like it's just that little turn, so it is very awkward. I would probably suggest if you're building this and you're putting it together and you've got your motor to go in, I'd mount the motor and everything before you even fit the actual motor mount to the chassis. It'd just be easier to do, guys, and get the mesh set and everything and then put it in. So then all you'd have to do is just tighten it up to, once you've got your gear mesh. That is just a little pointer I think I'd make out, for you guys. It's a little bit awkward getting in there, and just about, getting in there with the Allen key and so forth. So it's a little tight, but I'm getting there, little turns by turn by turn. Very hard to see where the bolt is. It's all by feel. The actual bolts that came with it weren't even long enough to get into my motor, through there and into the motor to actually even get into the threads and screwing. So, I just went into my little box of bolts and found some longer ones, and yeah, no problem. And I got a 29 tooth pinion to go on there, so I'm going to put that on now and then get the mesh and tighten it all up. And that's the motoring. And my receiver, oh, don't break it, I just repaired that. You know, I've had this knocking around in my box for a little while, and I'd actually pulled somehow the wires out. So I did my first circuit board soldering today here. Quite proud as well, it went well. Switch works, as you can tell. This is not your normal octave switch. This was off a brushed ESC, and that I originally had in one of my videos when I first fitted it in my HSP when I first got it, and it burnt out. So I kept all the connections, the ends, came in handy. So I just simply opened that up and soldered that in and gave myself another on and off switch. It's still the usual, you plug your programming card in, so you know I only need to be on and off switch. It doesn't need the program button on or anything like that. So hopefully it'll work and hold out, and yeah, so we're just getting it all fitted up, guys. So yeah, these wheels should be spinning very soon. But so far so good, everything's going in well. It's all going in nice, can't complain.